When it comes to his career, Daniel Cormier laid the groundwork for his future by joining the UFC broadcasting team as a color commentator. From the first night he started calling fights, the former two-division UFC champion has progressed to become one of the most powerful and recognized voices in MMA. Cormier currently serves as one-third of the main broadcast team for the UFC's pay-per-view events, often alongside Joe Rogan and former fighter Jon Anik. While the lineup occasionally changes, usually due to Rogan's busy schedule preventing him from traveling outside North America for fight calls, Cormier acknowledges that when a big fight is happening, his broadcast team is the best in the MMA world. "We've become a trio, me, Jon, and Joe, when it comes to pay-per-view. When you want to feel like it's a significant night, you'll hear those voices and see us on the screen," Cormier shared with MMA Fighting. "It's me, Jon, Joe, and Megan, Alivi, on the reports. Megan is really good. She plays soccer, participates in the NFL, and does all of this, so you know when you have that team, it's a pay-per-view, and it's a great night. It's the best thing." Consistency within the broadcast team, especially for pay-per-view events, has helped fans recognize that when Cormier, Rogan, and Anik are calling the shots, something special is happening. Cormier compares the broadcasting team to the classic commentating teams on Monday Night Football from previous years, where those NFL games were appointment viewing on network television. Cormier said, "When John Madden and Al Michaels and those guys were on Monday Night Football, you knew you were watching Monday Night Football, and now you understand that with the UFC," Cormier said. "When you see Jon, Joe, Megan, and me, you'll say, all right, this is going to be a significant night. That's great for the UFC." Of course, Cormier calls fights outside of pay-per-view events, and he often joins in with many retired or active warriors and analysts. The newest name to join that list is Laura Sanko, who graduated from conducting backstage interviews and reporting on fights on the Contender Series, then finally joined the commentary team for the UFC. She made her pay-per-view fight call debut in August when Sean Strickland caused a major upset by defeating Israel Adesanya in the main event. Cormier is impressed with Sanko's work. He also praises some other colleagues who continually raise the standard for the broadcast team. "She's done really well," Cormier said about Sanko. "I think Laura is truly one of the hardest working people because sometimes, all of us, we participate in fights, and you can tell about this guy, so I'll watch one of his fights before he fights because I know this guy is doing. Laura will watch 3 or 4 fights. You know who does that more than anyone? Her and Megan, Alivi. Megan Alivi, Laura Sanko, and Jon Anik are the people with the best preparation I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen people prepare at the level of those 3. What Laura has done from those fast UFC fights to the Contender Series and now calling fights, that's great. We're lucky to have a team of analysts, commentators, and broadcasters like we do now." Cormier wraps up 2023 with UFC 296, and there are many events on the horizon, especially with the historic UFC 300 event set to debut in April 2024. He never takes his job lightly, especially when calling the biggest fights in this sport. Rogan and Anik always look at me straight and say, "We have the best job in the world." "I think, buddy, nothing can compare," Cormier said. "It's not even close. I get goosebumps sitting at the desk because I'm a guy who loves to fight."